Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrea from Andy's Corner, and I'm so glad to have you with me today. Today, we're talking about a specific animal, and this animal in this story is always thirsty. Can you think about an animal that really loves water? A camel. So, this story I relate to because I love water. And our story today, the camel is always thirsty. So let's dig in and see why this camel is thirsty and where is it at in the Bible. So, our story today is from the Bible Animal Storybook written by Mack Thomas. The Always Thirsty Camel. As you know, most camels don't often get thirsty, but at least the other 9 who shared a stable with me didn't. But I was always thirsty. I could never get quite enough water. One evening, our keeper came to our stable and fed us a larger than usual dinner. After he left, the head camel in our stable, we called him Captain Camel, lifted his head high above the rest of us, and he said, "Sleep well tonight, comfortable camels. Our keeper told me that we're all going on a trip tomorrow." "Oh, I hope it's to the lake," I said. "Nope," he shook his head. "This journey will take many days. Our keeper told me that we're going far away to old Abraham's old country, the far north side of Mesopotamia. Abraham wants us to find a girl there, the right girl, to marry his son Isaac." "I hope I get to carry Isaac," I added quickly. I knew Isaac was a kind man, just like his father Abraham. On a long trip, Isaac would let me stop and drink whenever I wanted. But the captain huffed and said, "Our keeper told me that Isaac isn't going. Besides, you have plenty to carry without him. So let's get some rest. Good night." "But Captain Camel," I said, "shouldn't Isaac come along to help us find the right girl? He's a good hunter, you know." "As a matter of a fact," Captain Camel said with his big nose even higher in the air, "the keeper himself told me a secret about that." Then he closed his eyes and pressed together his big brown camel lips. "Aren't you going to tell me?" I demanded. The captain slowly opened one eye and he whispered, "Well, curious camel, if you can keep a secret, I'll tell you." Then he narrowed his eye and he said, "Our master Abraham says that God himself will show us the right girl to marry Isaac." "How?" I asked. "How should I know?" The captain snorted. "Our keeper didn't tell me that. And if he didn't tell me, it isn't important. So good night." He quickly shut his eye again. I put a frown on my face and said, "If I can't carry Isaac, I don't want to go. Besides, whoever this girl is, she may not agree to come back with us." "Maybe, maybe not," the captain mumbled. "Of course," I continued, "if we took Isaac along, this girl would see what a fine man he is, and she'd be glad to return with us." Now the captain popped open both eyes. "Listen, conniving camel. Isaac isn't going, and you are. So go to sleep." He jerked his nose higher still, and I could almost hear his eyes bang shut. But I coughed loudly and got his attention one last time. "Yes?" he shouted. "Oh, nothing," I said sweetly. "I'm a little thirsty, that's all." He growled, as only a cantankerous Captain Camel can. The next morning we began our journey. Abraham's most important helper, Eliezer, led us into a long single file. Each camel was loaded down with heavy, heavy packs. Captain Camel told us the packs were filled with silver and gold and other precious gifts. Our keeper told me, he announced, that once we find Isaac's bride, these gifts will go to her and her family. So guard them well, he snapped. Don't be careless camels. As the morning sun climbed above our heads, I told a few camel jokes to help make the time pass. What is the quickest way to unload a camel? With a hump truck. Like a dump truck. How does a camel take his tea? With 2 humps of sugar. How do you tag a camel? With a humper sticker. Like a bumper sticker. What kind of bread does a camel like best? Humpernickel. What do you call a camel who isn't from the city? A country humpkin. Even the captain liked my jokes. You crazy camel, he laughed. Then we all sang old camel trail songs like this one. It's a long way to Mesopotamia. It's a long way from home. So far beyond the sands of Arabia is a land where we'll roam. But as the sun got higher and hotter, I got thirstier and thirstier. Eliezer would let me stop and drink only at night when we camped by a stream or a well. Each day was the same. I kept getting thirsty. And when I got thirsty, I wished I was carrying kind Isaac instead of those heavy bundles. And when I thought about Isaac, I thought about Captain Camel's secret. Just how, I wondered, can God show us the right girl to be Isaac's wife? One hot afternoon, we raised our voices in an old song called The Sands of Time Are Slowly Sinking. But I changed it to The Sands of Time Are Not for Drinking, because my mouth was so parched with thirst. I could think of nothing else but water. See, this is him getting thirstier and thirstier, dreaming of a water oasis, of a jar of water. We finally saw a town ahead. Eliezer steered us towards it, though he seemed to be going uncommonly slow. I whispered to the camel next to me, if I don't get a drink in the next 2 minutes, I think I'll die. The captain turned on us and shouted, Quiet, complaining camels, we are near our journey's end. See, he looks mad and grumpy. Just ahead of us, right outside the town walls, we saw a big well. I was overjoyed. But when it was only a few steps away, Eliezer stopped and didn't lead us any closer. In my dry, scratchy voice, I asked the captain, What are we waiting for? Shh, he answered. We watched as Eliezer's camel got down on his knees and Eliezer got off. Then Eliezer also kneeled and started praying. O Lord, please be kind to us and show us the girl to be Isaac's wife. Send her out to the well right now, and when I ask her for a drink of water, I'll know she's the right girl if she offers to water the camels also. I thought this was a perfect prayer, so I prayed too. O Lord, please send her out here and send her quick. I think he's getting really thirsty. Before Eliezer opened his eyes, a girl started walking out from the town toward the well. She was beautiful and she was carrying a water jar. She must have been coming to get water for her family. See, that's Eliezer praying. When the girl got nearer, Eliezer rose from his knees and politely asked her for a drink. Yes, sir, she said. Why, of course. She let down her jar into the well and then drew it up. It was running over with cool, clear, sparkling, splashing, wet, wonderful water. She handed the jar to Eliezer, and I thought I would surely die as I watched him take a long, deep, satisfying drink. Eliezer slowly handed her back the jar. Then the young girl looked my way. Her eyes were as clear and sparkling as the water from the well. She kept her gaze on me for a moment and then turned again to Eliezer with a look of concern. Her voice was like a gentle stream. Shall I water your camels also? She asked. His dream was coming true. Why, certainly, I croaked. I charged ahead and knelt at her side. I took a quick-sighted glance at Eliezer, and I saw him smiling and nodding at the girl. She drew more water from the well with her jar and poured it into a trough by the well so I could drink it. She kept drawing more and more, and I kept drinking. I watched her while I drank, and I thought, this girl will be perfect wife for Isaac. She's kind to camels, just like he is. When I had swallowed about 10 gallons, I stepped aside and let other camels have some. When they finished, I drank another gallon or two, plus a few extra sips. See, that's him drinking. Do you think you could drink 10 gallons? Whoa, that's a lot. To thank her for the water, Eliezer gave her a gold ring and 2 gold bracelets. She said her name was Rebecca, and she told him all about her family. We have room for you and plenty of food for the camels, she said. Why don't you stay with us tonight? So Eliezer stayed that night in the house with Rebecca's family and told them all about his prayer and all about Abraham and Isaac. We camels stayed in a fine stable. We had big piles of grain to eat and big piles of straw to sleep on, and of course, lots and lots of water to drink. The very next day, sure enough, Rebecca decided to go back with us and marry Isaac. When it was time for her to choose a camel to ride during the long journey ahead, Eliezer pointed to me. How would this one do? He asked Rebecca. He's a fine-looking camel, she said with a smile. I knelt as low as I could so she could climb up on easily. Behind me, I heard the captain snickering. Oh, what a cute, cuddly camel. But I paid him no attention. And you know, the trip home seemed to go so fast. Perhaps because Rebecca let me stop and have a drink whenever I wanted. That's the end. If you want to read more about this story in the real Bible, you can read Genesis 24. I love that story because it actually did happen. Eliezer did pray for a wife for Isaac by asking the Lord to guide him with a woman that would also give his camels a drink. And that's exactly what happened. And Rebecca and Isaac remained married for the rest of their lives. So whenever you feel like you need direction or guidance because you want to do the right thing and by God, then just pray to him and he will guide you because he desires for you to do his will also. So he will help you with all the help that he can by giving you different directions and guidance. All you have to do is stop and pray, and he will answer your prayers. Sometimes he answers with a yes, with a not right now, and with a no. Or sometimes he gives you direction. It's pretty amazing that the God of the universe talks to us. I hope you enjoyed that story as much as I did. And I'll see you next week for another animal story. Telling you, they're amazing. All right, have a great day. Bye.